So in this first riff, we open up with a classic kind of jump major 6 riff, right? And we have a hammer-on from the flat third to the major third, 5 to 6, the root, 6 to 5, and then a little movement from the 7, 6, 5, included on the 5 there, and then again, same deal. Okay, but then there's that dominant 7 setting up our 4 chord move coming up. And then we have what might be considered, the second blues box, a G, and we have this great kind of syncopated. So that second blues box of G, of course, is thinking relative to G, but we want to start thinking relative to C. So what do we have? If we look at that C dominant chord, we have the 7, the 5, and the major third right there, right? And so we're coming off the 5, and then there's that flat 9 again. In this case, we're working the flat 9 of C, which is C sharp, right? If we make a 9 chord and we flat the 9, it becomes a C sharp. So the flat 9 is always, 1 half step above the root. So if C's the root, the flat 9 is of course C sharp. So we're sliding into that flat 9 from the root. Great, just an awesome Bill Jennings riff right there. And there's our pull-off backslide, right? So we're picking the 6 now, or we could be thinking the last few beats of the 4 chord. This would be the major third. This would be the 4, and then landing on the downbeat of the 4 on its 5, which is D, right? Of 1 chord, D is 5. So right, there's that pull-up backslide, but with 2 fingers. And then okay, so here's that 1, 6, 2, 5 motion again with a A minor in there as we're walking up. So it's really 1, 7th and 8th measure again. So take note, 7th and 8th measure, root, minor 2, minor 3. And then instead of the 6, we're just using a chromatic passing tone to set up the 2, 5, 1. So the 6 would be a classic 1, 6, 2, 5 would be, right? Something like that, or a minor, E minor. But in this case, we're doing, right? So, but we're taking the top half of each of those chords. Hammer on, right? Right? Really setting that up, leaving that tension for that 2-5-1 turnarounds. And this perhaps to me might be the mother of all 2-5-1 turnarounds. It's just such an awesome riff. And it's really one of those that I really recommend saving. So we're on our 2 and we're outlining. Now I grabbed this with my pinky here. You could grab it with your ring finger, the root of the 2. We got the 9 to the flat 3, so we're strongly suggesting the minor chord, outlining the minor chord. Grabbing the 6 in there too, so it's kind of like a minor 6. And then for the downbeat of the 5, we're kind of outlining the top half of a 9 chord, resolving to the 5. So here's the whole thing a little slower again. Okay, then we have this, which is kind of out sounding. So what is that all about? we have a flat 9, sharp 9. Like we've covered the flat 9 now, right? We can get to a flat 9 by making that shape. But a sharp 9 we might know from our Hendrix chord, right? Regular E9 would be there, sharp 9 would be there. So in this case, our sharp 9 would be there. So we got, and then back into the major third. So here we go. Here's the whole turnaround. And then setting the whole the one chord back up. And that last little bit could either be thought of as just a measure of the last measure, you know, the 11th and 12th measure of the 12-bar blues could be the major, G major 7, or just a passing tone. Or it could be, we could be outlining a 5 leading back into the root. So here it is, the whole thing again. And then concluding the whole thing on the tonic of the 5 for the last few beats of the 12th measure, setting up the next solo. Really, really spelling out that 5 chord. One more time. Okay, that's your classic 2-5-1 turnaround, one of my favorites.